Hello students, welcome back to the Python programming series. In this video, I am going to discuss some MySQL connectivity programs. That means how we can handle the database of MySQL using the Python code. Let's see how it is possible. Before getting into the program, let's see the database and the table within that. Here, I have already created a table called the library within the database 12 CSDB. This library table contains book number, which is the primary key, then book title and the author's name. These three fields are only included in the library table. Let's see how we can insert data to the table. First of all, we need to establish a connection to the MySQL database. So before that, we need a connector object. So for that, we need to import mysql.connector. How to install this mysql.connector is already explained in a previous video. I will include the link in the description box. So once this mysql connector is imported, then we can establish a connection. Once this mysql.connector is imported, then we can establish the connection using the connect method of this mysql.connector. So we need to pass some arguments to that. One is the host. Host name is localhost, and in my system, the username I am using to open the MySQL, it is root. Then password. Password, as per my system, it is password in capital letters. But some systems, normal installation, it will be root itself. Then my database name is 12CSDB. So when we use this connect method, a connection is established and a connection object will be created. That is db underscore connection. Then once this connection object is ready, we need to create database cursor object to perform SQL operations. For that, we can use the statement like this: db underscore connection dot cursor method. It will give out a cursor object, and that is total to db underscore cursor. This cursor object is used to perform all SQL operations. Now, I am using a looping technique to insert any number of records. Here we are using a variable called C and initializing this C with the Y. And after that, we are just giving some messages. Then the while loop is starting. Then within the while loop, we are entering the book number to BN, book title to BT, and author's name to A. Then insert into table name command is used to insert the values to the table. We have three fields: book number, book title, and the author. Then we need to insert values for that. So values, in that place you can use %s, which is a placeholder. Then to a list B, we are storing this book number, book title BT, and also the author A. Then we need to execute this command, which we have already set it to Q. To execute this command, we need to supply values for this percentage as placeholders. So these values we are stored to B. So while executing, we are passing the query Q and also the values for that query B. And after the execution of this execute command, one record will be inserted to the table. But to make this change permanent, we need to commit the transaction. So to commit, we can use the commit method of db connection. So db connection dot commit need to be executed after that. Then again we are asking the user whether he or she wants to insert more records, yes or no. If it is so, this loop will be continued. When the user press any other key other than Y, it will stop the loop. Now the data are permanently saved to the table, then now we want to see those data. To take the data of library table, you can simply use the SQL command select star from library. To execute this statement, we can use the execute method. Now we want to see the records of the library table, including what we have entered. So for that, we can execute select star from library query. To execute, we can give the statement like this: cursor object dot execute, then the query. Then it will read the records to a record set. Then we are traversing through the cursor object and displaying all the records present in this library table. So this loop will display the entire content of this library table. Then after execution, we can verify whether the newly entered records are stored there. Then we can close the cursor object and also the connection. That's all this program to insert records to the library table. Let's execute that. We have entered the first record with the book number 1, title Ignited Minds, and the author APJ Abdul Kalam. Whether if you want to insert more records, you can press yes. The second record is also inputted with book number 2, book title Universe in a Nutshell, author Stephen Hawking. If you want to insert one more, you can give yes. The third record is also inputted. Now I don't want to continue, so I am entering no. See, I can see the entire content of this library table. All the 3 records we have entered is there in the display. So this is the program. Now let's verify whether the records are entered correctly to the library table. See, all the records are correctly entered to the library table. Now let's discuss another program, which is to delete a record. For deleting a record, we need to establish the connection. So mysql connector need to be imported first. Then connection is established. Then cursor object is also taken. Then using the cursor object, we are executing the query. Before that, as per this program, we are entering the book number. Which book I want to delete. That we need to input it from the user. So BNO is used for that purpose. Then we are asking the user to enter the book number of the book to be deleted. The user will definitely enter the book number. We need to delete that particular book only. For that, delete from library command is used. Where clause is also added to that, where book number is equal to percentages. What is the value need to be substituted for this percentages? That is given as a tuple here by giving a percentage sign here. Percentage, then after that a tuple BNO comma. Because there is only one element in the tuple, you have to put a comma after the variable name. Then using the execute method, we are executing this query Q. Then to make this change, deletion permanent, we have to execute this commit method also. Then the deletion is permanent. Then after that, if you want to see the records, you can simply execute select star from library query and fetch all the records from the result set to data and traverse through this data to get all the records print to the output. Then after execution, just close the cursor and also the connection. Let's execute this one. Here I am trying to delete the first record. I entered the book number 1. See, earlier library table contains the 3 books, but now the first book is deleted from that. Now the first book is not there. Let's verify that in MySQL. See, the first book is missing. That means the delete statement what we used in Python, it is a permanent change in our library table. Now let's see another program which is to update the records. Here in this program we are trying to update the author's name. For example, I have entered APJ Abdul Kalam instead of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I want to make this change. Anyway, we need to import this mysql.connector, then establish the connection, then create the cursor object, and after that we need which author's name we want to change and also the new name of that, the corrected name. So AU variable is used to get the author's name which you want to change. Then new author's name is stored to NEWAU. We are asking for the correct name. Now to make changes to a table, update command need to be used. Now to make changes to the table's data, update is the command. Update which table, that is library, set author equals the new name of the author, where author equals percentages. That means what was the old name. Now we need to substitute the values for this placeholders percentages. So for that we are supplying a tuple to that with two values, the new name and the author's name. Any new AU will be substituted in this place and AU will be substituted in the where clause, this place. Then the query is ready. Now we can execute the query using the execute method. Then after execution, here also data change is happening. So we need to execute commit to make this change permanent. The correction is already done permanently in the table. Now let's verify that. To display the data, we can execute this select star from library and we are fetching all the data to a variable called data. Then traversing through the data, we are just displaying the records of this library table. Then after all the operation, we are closing the cursor and also the connection. Let's execute this. I am entering the author's name which I want to change, APJ Abdul Kalam. The corrected name is also given, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Wings of Fire books, author is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. See the change we have done using the update statement. Let's verify that in MySQL also. See, the change is permanent in MySQL also. Now let's see another program to search a book based on author's name. Now the library table has 6 records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 records. These books details are stored there. Now let's look at the program for that. Anyway, we need to import the connector, establish the connection, create the cursor object. Now we can execute the command. Before executing, here we need to enter the author's name. We are asking the user for the author's name and that is stored to the variable AU. Then the command for searching is select star from library where author equals placeholder. Here we need to substitute the author's name, that is AU, that is applied as a tuple. Because there is only one element, we have put the comma also here. Then the query is ready, we are executing that query. Here we don't need to use the commit because select is just a command to displaying the records, not data change is happening. Now after execution, we need to fetch the records from the record set. So for that, fetch all is used and all the records will be there in data. Now here we are using another constant, raw count. This raw count will give you the number of records retrieved. That will be there in raw count. So we are just displaying the message book of AU, that means the author name. Then using this loop, we are displaying each record by record. And at the end of the loop, we are displaying this count also. Raw count is stored to count and that count is also displayed. How many books we found out, that is also displayed. These are the operations. So after completion, we are closing the cursor object and also the connection. Now let's execute this program. I want to search the books of APJ Abdul Kalam. See, 3 books are there of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. See, 3 books of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam are there in the library. So, at the end, we are displaying how many books we found out. So, this is the search program. So, understand, we can insert records, delete records, update records, or even we can search the record. Before doing these programs, we need to create the library. We can do the table creation also in Python connectivity program. Here, I created the table already in MySQL and these programs are executed. Thanks for watching.